the Caribbean Offshore Powerboat Championships. The Carib Great Race, the Modified Sports Division. And here are your hosts, Roger Piggott and Jay Harrison.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the tropical paradise. We're down here in the island of Trinidad and Tobago. Round 2, Battle of the Giants. It's the Carib Great Race, and specifically the Modified Sports Division.
It's early morning race day at the Trinidad and Tobago Yacht Club. Let's take a look at the heats and boat listings that are involved today. In Heat 1, our Pirogue and Pleasure division at a max speed of 40 miles per hour, we have Intense High, Voluntad, Hero 2, and JOM. Also in Heat 1, the Pleasure Sports division at a max speed of 55 miles per hour, we have Trans Brokerage 1, Extreme Measures, and Outrageous. In Heat 2, our Modified Sports division at a max speed of 70 miles per hour, we have Candyman, Bico Blaze, Hero 3, Right Formula, Alien, Esso Special Effects, Wolverine X, and Mobo. In Heat 3, our Superboat Light and Super Modified divisions with a max speed of 95 miles per hour, we have Rage and White Heat 3. And in Heat 4, our Modified Max division with a max speed of 120 miles per hour, we have Bico 3 and the current champion, Mr. Solo.
Okay, the milling area for today's agenda is in an area of the island called Shegaramas, and I'll tell you, that is a holiday hotspot. Here you can see some of the modified sports vessels getting ready, Mobile, Alien. These boats go on an average of 70 miles an hour. And right now we have a good look at our milling area. Okay, here's what 100 nautical miles of Atlantic Ocean looks like. The boats are going to go eastbound past the center of town, Port of Spain, through the Bocas and the Dragon's Mouth, and follow the grueling North Shore. Into Maracas Bay, more North Shore action. Now, there's a lot of water current here. They're going to be doing a sharp 90 at Grand Revere, and this is where it's pedal to the metal across the Atlantic Ocean. They're going to do 2 loops in the finish area, and that's going to pick out today's winner. Well, very, very exciting. Special thanks going out to the Coast Guard and all the government services. There's the ICEMAN Pace Boat, part of the Caribbean Offshore Championship Series. Our eyes in the sky, and Jason, we're about ready to get underway.
All boats are now assembling behind our official's pace boat.
And here we go. The green flag is down, and the Pirogue and Pleasure division of competition is now underway. They're going to be heading, as mentioned, eastbound towards Port of Spain, which is the capital city on the island of Trinidad. And they'll be circling around over there at the Trinidad and Tobago Yacht Club. And Jason, strong crowds packing on the beach for today's agenda.
Looks like we have a good clean start. You know, there's 100 miles in front of these boats, so no need to get panicky right up front. We got Team Trans Brokerage 1 getting an early lead, followed by Team Outrageous, Intense High, Extreme Measures, JOM. They're all trying to feel each other out right now.
Well, the Pirogue and Pleasure division is really the entry level to offshore powerboat racing. Our eyes in the sky, got to thank our camera crew. But you'll notice in some of these boats that there's students that are involved in the race today, and this is really where you get a feel of what it is. These guys are all navigating. Some of them, this is the first time they're going to take on the Atlantic Ocean, and a great shot there of Outrageous leading the pack as they're circling around now the farthest eastern part of the 100 nautical mile course, and they're going to be working their way back to the starting area, and this is where a lot of the spectators on the shore really get a first-hand view of what's going on. S10 Bico Blaze, that's our only female driver, and Dynamite Right Formula, a force to reckon with out here in the island of Trinidad. Today's agenda is broken into 4 heats, and ultimately what's going to happen is a bottleneck's going to happen into the race outside of Maracas Bay. We'll talk about that a little later, but right now, heat number 2 starting to assemble. Eyes in the sky, ready for the agenda. The green flag is up, and here we go. Heat number 2 underway, and now there is approximately 28 different boats on the water as we speak.
And moments from now, Heat 1 will be coming across, passing the start area, right before Heats 3 and 4 take off.
And that's great. They're just giving them the head start. Heat 3 is the fastest speed. Heat 4 is the big boys in the offshore racing. A great look here on board Candyman, and you can see that the rooster tails, as they're known, in front of them, as once again, this heat is all clustered tight. No one's freaking out. 100 miles in front of you. No need to be hard on the gas in calm water like this.
Yeah, we got Hero 3, Bico Blaze just battling it out for first place in Heat 2 right now, followed by SO Special Effects, Dynamite Right Formula, Candyman, and so forth.
Well, it looks pretty good, and you can see the mountains way down there. That's where they're going to be circling around, working their way back to the starting area, and then we'll launch heat number 3. So as a heat comes by the starting area, we launch one. So there's only 2 heats really in this course, one going eastbound, the other going westbound. There's Candyman circling the buoy, the farthest eastern part of the course. You can see some of the action in front of them, and the island's way down there at the top right corner of your screen. That's just outside of our starting area, so it's a nice warm-up, and this is really the calmest water they're going to see today, because once they hit the Bocas and the Dragon's Mouth, it all busts loose from there.
We got Team Candyman hard on the gas there, followed by Team Alien trying to chase down Dynamite Right Formula and Bico Blaze there, with Team Rage leading the pack right now.
Well, Rage is definitely a forerunner. This is a good-looking boat, a lot of experience. Dynamite Right Formula, they do a lot of the service work, but listen to the thunder as the boats are doing a flyby right in front of the Trinidad and Tobago Yacht Club. Some great action here with 40 cameras covering today's agenda.
We got Kadra Branker and her brother Brent there on board Team Bico Blaze, currently ahead of Hero 3 there.
Well, talking Chadra, she is the only female race driver in a 60-boat field today. And I'll tell you, you look at the logistics and statistics on this, babes, and they're quite impressive. 20 race starts, 20 victories. Who do you put your cash on today, Jason?
I'm banking on Team Candyman today. They got a great track record. They did extremely well last year, and they got perseverance like no other team I've ever seen.
Wolverine just crossing in front of the TTYC right now. And look at this, Jason, your pick on board Candyman. Richard Hussein, very pissed. If I can use those words, it looks like mechanical problems on Candyman.
Tough break for Candyman, but this isn't the end of the road. They can still get their boat up and running again. Hopefully with the tools that they have on board, they cannot receive any help from the outside. We're back in Heat 2 with Hero 3 just chasing down Bico Blaze still.
Well, there's a great look at Hero 3, but right now, all attention is on Kadra Branker in Bico Blaze. There's a great look at the vessels. Jason, what's our current position?
Looks like we got Heats 1 and 2 just getting ready to pass the race start, while Heats 3 and 4 are standing by ready to take off.
More excitement ahead. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The Caribbean Offshore Powerboat Championship Series are brought to you by the Trinidad and Tobago Powerboat Association, racing at its best. MasterCard, don't leave home without it. And by the Insurance Company of the West Indies Limited, serving you is all we do.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Caribbean Offshore Powerboat Championship Series. Roger Piggott along with Jay Harrison, and we are in the starting area known as the milling area for heat number 3. These are the big guns, as heat number 2 are going to come through the starting area and work their way out into the open Atlantic Ocean.
Got a good look here of Dynamite Right Formula passing by the race start, followed by Team Alien. And this is a great chance for the crowd. This is what they wait for, to get a first-hand view of these boats just flying by at their top speed.
Well, you should hear the thunder when you're on the beach, like this, especially this puppy here, C1 Rage. You know, where are your earplugs? This guy's just giving her gas. Now, you can see that little point over there. That's what we call the mouth of the Bocas, and there's some of the large shipping container ships and all that. We're in a huge bay as Mobile Extreme, just giving her SO Special Effects just everyone pounding towards the Bocas. Now, from this point of the race, Jason, I'd say they've got about 85 miles, and I'll tell you, it isn't pretty. As soon as they get around this point, you can see some of the water conditions starting to change, and it's all going to bust loose.
That's right, that's when they hit the North Shore, and that's when the water conditions start to get real rough. You can see Team Wolverine X just passing the race start now, hitting some chop already.
Well, you know, this is nothing. They're going to be coming into 6-7 out in the worst part of this race in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean between the island of Trinidad and Tobago. 10, 12-foot swells are not out of question. So some of the larger boats like what we're looking at right here in the milling area, Toyota White Heat, the Tardot family, over 30 years tradition with powerboat racing in this island alone. Here is an eye candy if I ever saw one. That's British American Insurance and, of course, RC Cola Mr. Solo. You can see in the background heat number 3 just underway. Here's heat number 2. They're closing in on heat number 1, now getting into the Bocas and what's known as the Dragon's Mouth. And I'll tell you right now, all you viewers at home, they don't call it the Dragon's Mouth because it's calm water. And it looks like the green flag is down and the big guns are off. A slow start for Solo, but look at the rooster tail and listen to the thunder on the Atlantic Ocean. Now these guys are going to bomb into Port of Spain, do that loop, and head back to the starting area in a blink. And then that's where these superboats, the unlimited division, are going to start closing down on heats number 1, 2, and 3. Okay, here we go at the Trinidad and Tobago Yacht Club, and I'll tell you, white gloves, 5-star service, and all the amenities known to the modern man, including a couple of pigeons there. Candyman looks like a bit of engine problem. There's Richard, SMS, they're on it. They're going to get her back into the game, but right now, all attention on Dynamite right formula, and you can see the chop.
We got our throttle man there, Ian Keyser, driver Garth Marshall there, trying to chase down Team Rage, led by Riyad Shakir.
Well, I'll tell you, Rage's inboard style of engine, obviously, and Dynamite right formula is outboard. And we're getting a lot of emails, what's faster, inboard or outboard? And one of the racers told me, it's funny how you could take a race car engine and put it in a boat, but you can't take an outboard motor and put it in a race car. So with that mentality, I don't know. They say that the outboard engines are made for this type of water conditions. The inboards, you can pack a little more ponies into it. And talking ponies, check out the puppy there. 1.5 million gallons of rooster tail per hour coming out the back doors of RC Cola M7, Mr. Solo. Then here we go. They're circling to the Bocas, getting ready to take on the Dragon's Mouth.
Heats 1 and 2 are just making their way through the Bocas towards the North Shore, and heats 3 and 4 have just passed our starting area, heading towards the Dragon's Mouth.
Stay with us. More exciting powerboat racing. We'll be right back.
The Caribbean Offshore Powerboat Championship Series are brought to you by Rossi Sportswear, manufacturers of golf, soccer, and quality sportswear. ICEMAN Productions, the integrated promotional corporation. And by National Petroleum, fueling excellence.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Caribbean Offshore Powerboat Championship Series, and specifically the Modified Sports Division. Here we are, heat number 2. They're just getting into the Dragon's Mouth, lining themselves up for the treacherous North Shore.
There's Hero 3 doing a bit of the chime dance on their hull as they're heading past the Bocas towards the North Shore. Dynamite right formula, not far behind, passing what appears to be a downed Extreme Measures, just taking a pounding on their hull.
Well, I'll tell you, there's SO Special Effects, and this is where you're going to make it or break it. Some of these drivers, when they come into this initial chop, they're coming from glass-type conditions into probably a 3-foot swell, and there's a little bit of air right there as we're now back at the Trinidad and Tobago Yacht Club, and it does look like Candyman buckling up. They've got their mechanical problem all dialed in, and we're going to be racing momentarily with my favorite team in the Great Race.
This is where diligence, perseverance, and the winning attitude of this team really shines through as they're relaunching their boat, trying to get back in today's race. Let's take a better look at Team Candyman. The modified sports class at a max speed of 70 miles per hour. In the driver's seat, we got Paul Sabga, our throttle man, Troy Mohammed, and the navigator, Richard Hossam. You
can see this boat is heavily decorated. There's a lot of companies on the islands that have been financing this team, and higher heck, they're going to finish the race, and that's a championship attitude right there. But meanwhile, heat number 2 now coming into the Dragon's Mouth, making that treacherous pass to the North Shore.
Good look at Team Mobile here as they're trying to trim out their boat on these new wave conditions. It's starting to get a bit more challenging as they're going through the North Shore here. Team SO Special Effects following closely behind.
Right now, let's have a look at our modified sports division, 70-mile-an-hour class dynamite right formula. And in the driver's seat, we have Garth Marshall, followed by our throttleman navigator, Ian Keyser. This is a great-looking team, and I'll tell you one thing. Not only can these guys race, but they know how to party.
Great shot of Hero 3. You can see the driver slightly in front of the throttleman in the cockpit. They've got wings on the side of their boat, almost like an airplane. It just lets them float across the crest of the waves like that.
Well, if you take a notice of the boat in the bottom of the screen verse, it looks like dynamite right formula. You can see that they're getting a little more air.
Taking a better look at Team Hero 3 in the modified sports division at 70 miles per hour maximum. In our driver's seat, we have Hero Boudram, and in our throttleman's position, Neil Samaru.
Well, great looking overview on Hero 3, but it looks like Mobile heat wave just firing across the Atlantic Ocean. Now you can see the bob and weave as they're getting some serious air, and you got to watch it because this takes a pounding on your boat. And you can see Hero 3 down for the 8 count. Looks like mechanical problems at the back door. Motor seems to be running. Here we go. Shutdown City. Mobile heat wave now closing, opening the hatch as Toyota White Heat moving forward as they are now passing heat number 2.
We got Team Wolverine X there in the background, just being passed by Toyota White Heat 3. And White Heat 3 has a rich tradition with powerboat racing in the island of Trinidad and Tobago. And they've been racing for over 30 years with the Tardo family name.
Well, I'll tell you, they're just getting to an exciting part of the race course, and it's an area on the island of Trinidad called Maracas Bay. It's a big, lazy bay cut into the side of the shoreline on the north side of the island, and this is where the crowd is standing room only. If we could get a shot going to the beaches, the tropical sand there, which the sea turtles love to nest in, are just full of spectators. The good news is the Caribbean Offshore Powerboat Series is environmentally friendly, as all wildlife and safety protocols are exercised with extreme precision.
Here we have the two big boys in our race, Heat 4, Baiko 3, and Mr. Solo battling it out.
Not only the big boys, we got a lot of production budget there with 2 helicopters, 1 on each. Now, we've loaded these boats with cameras. You can see that there's 3 helicopters actually filming this sequence now, and we'll be coming on board to get a bird's eye view of the pounding these boats are taking. If we just watch, they can take up to 3 G's of force. Right now it all looks good. The swells, they're riding them nice. The boats are trimmed out, but it doesn't take much for you to just get the serious pounding of a lifetime.
This is what it's all about, Roger. These boats are traveling at speeds in excess of 120 miles per hour.
Well, you got to keep in mind, you viewers at home, 120 miles an hour on the water is roughly equivalent to 240 miles an hour on the land. So you can imagine the G's on these guys in the boats. They're all wearing 5-point harnesses, well over 2,000 horsepower. And look at the chime dance as Solo trying to break away from the pack, but Baiko not giving up anything. Well, here we go. The Atlantic Ocean crossing just about done. Tobago in sight. Stay with us. The race finish. We'll be right back.
The Caribbean Offshore Powerboat Championship Series are brought to you by Carib, the beer of the Caribbean, ESPN Classic, and by Maxell, get blown away.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Roger J., the ICEMAN, along with Jay Harrison, your host. The Caribbean Offshore Championships specifically the Modified Sports Division. We're now in Store Bay, Tobago, and I'll tell you, over 15,000 consumers pack the beaches. You can hear the thunder. On the Atlantic Ocean, it's the Unlimited Division, Super Modified, Modified Max, 2,000 horsepower boats. You hear them before you see them, and they're just coming in to our finish area corral.
Well, the crowd's standing by. They're very excited, finally seeing these boats as they're coming into the finish area. And it looks like Team Bico 3 made it in first.
Heats 1, 2, and 3 had approximately 25 minutes advance lead time head start on these boats. And look who's crossing 100 miles of Atlantic Ocean, and on my watch, just over an hour. Both feet are down on the gas pedal hard, as it looks like a clear-cut victory here for British American Insurance, breaking a 13-year tradition with the fastest boat on the island, better known as Mr. Solo.
You can see some of the local boats just blocked off in our confinement area, trying to get a close first-hand view of Bico 3 flying by. Looks like they're going to take first place unofficially, class position 1, race position 1 in the Carib Great Race.
Well, congratulations to this team. The hatch is open. You can see them shutting down. And here we go. RC Cola M7, Mr. Solo now entering, and you can see this is where they sort of show off a bit in front of the crowd. They're coming so close to the beach, and like at a nightclub, you can feel the bass, the reverberation out of these engines going right through you. Class position 2, unofficially race position number 2. Mr. Solo shutting her down in the Carib Great Race.
Congratulations going out to Team Bico 3 and Mr. Solo as we're waiting for the official logistics for today's race.
Well, I'm just hearing over the communication equipment that it seems we have a penalty lap. British American Insurance is going to have to go out and redo another lap, as they took one of the marker boys on the wrong side, and I guess the pounding of the Atlantic Ocean threw the communication equipment off, and that means a default victory for RC Cola, regaining their championship M7, the agony of defeat. British American Insurance out for another lap.
It looks like Team Rage will be the third boat to enter the finish area, and the C-Class Super Modified at 95 miles per hour maximum. They're going to get an official race time of an hour, 32 minutes and 37 seconds, with an official race position of third.
Well, I'll tell you, that is impressive, and what a beautiful boat. C number 1, Rage. You can see our eyes in the sky just catching some of the action on the Super Modifieds, but here we go. A second boat in the British American Insurance roster out here today. That is Bico Blaze, as they are now charging into the Store Bay finish area. The containment boats off to the side, and race position 4, class position 1, a time of 1 hour, 48 minutes, but here's what 10 to 15,000 people in the finish area look like from our eyes in the sky.
Yeah, the rookies, Bico Blaze, beating out here the veterans of the sport, Team Dynamite Right Formula, as they're just crossing the finish line now. Job well done for Team Dynamite Right Formula. They're going to take second place in their class with an overall race position of 5th. 2 hours even will be their total race time for today.
Well, that's a very impressive time, 100 nautical miles. That comes down to about an average speed of 50 miles an hour. SO Special Effects, total race time 2 hours 6 minutes, class position 3 and race position 9. And we paid tribute to our champions, M7, Mr. Solo, winning it by default. As you heard earlier, that Bico, British American Insurance, missed one of the marker boys, had a penalty lap to do, and that's all it took. Nice shot here, a P111. That's Wolverine X, class position 1, race position 14, with a combined time 2 hours and 49 minutes.
Team Alien just approaching the checkered flag now, hard on the gas. It's been a long day of racing. These young guys, Jonathan Moutet, Damon Mosca, it's been a couple years in the Carib Great Race, and they've actually made it all the way to Tobago. They're taking 15th place overall, class position of 4th at 3 hours and 6 minutes.
Well, we pay tribute to Team Alien. It's always a testament of agility and skill when you're going to cross 100 nautical miles of Atlantic Ocean. There's extreme measures over there, the green vessel. All the boats are now starting to anchor off, and we will be partying hard tonight. Here goes Candyman, class position 5, race position 16, 3 hours and 14 minutes, and keep in mind, they were shut down with mechanical problems for well over an hour. Jason, give us our final results.
Modified Max Division, Mr. Solo wins it with an hour and 21 minutes, and Bico 3 in second place with an hour and 26 minutes. In our Superboat Light and Super Modified divisions, Rage with an hour and 32 minutes, and Toyota White Heat 3 with an hour and 55. In our Modified Sports division, Bico Blaze with an hour and 46 minutes, Dynamite Right Formula with 2 hours even, Esso Special Effects 2 hours and 6 minutes, and Wolverine X with 2 hours and 49 minutes. Team Alien 3 hours and 6 minutes, Team Candyman 3 hours 14 minutes, and Hero 3 and Mobile did not finish. In our Pleasure Sports division, Trans Brokerage 1 2 hours 20 minutes, and Extreme Measures 2 hours 28 minutes, and Outrageous did not finish. JOM 2 hours 42 minutes, Intense High 2 hours 50 minutes, Volantide 2 hours 57 minutes, and Hero 2 close behind 2 hours 58 minutes.
Well, what an exciting race and an even more exciting finish, but right now I'm looking at 10 lovely legs. On behalf of myself, Roger Piggott, and my co-host, we thank you for watching, and until we next meet, the gas pedal is on the right.